Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dustin from Revere Glass, and this week I let AI design my piece. If you're interested in learning more about glassblowing, check out revereglass.com, where there's a lot of different courses and free stuff for you to learn to blow glass and interact with me as a teacher. If you've been a longtime subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like, subscribe, and notifications so you can know whenever we're releasing a new video. ChatGPT is a website where you can type in any prompt and it'll give you an answer. It's a little bit like Google, as if it wrapped it up in a present for you and said, here's your answer. We've been messing around with this ChatGPT for a little while, and because of what we do, and it's this mix of glassblowing and technology, and we thought, what could ChatGPT create from its own self without very much of a prompt about what to do? And so a lot of this stuff got us thinking, and so we started to give ChatGPT some very basic prompts about, I have a YouTube channel about blowing glass, give me something to make for my channel. And ChatGPT would just spit out these crazy cool ideas with details. And then we'd ask it for the steps and it would break down the steps and give us the steps to do. So I chose this one because it's a very simple technique. What I liked that ChatGPT did is that it named this technique the cosmic swirl. And it's great. I mean, everybody who's blown glass has twisted glass. But what I thought was interesting was the way that it named the technique and the way that it had me execute the technique. It had me execute the technique by creating depth, by adding clear, of layering it on. Maybe if I wanted to make a swirl, I might have encased that a different way. So I thought it was super interesting, and I'd like you guys to try out ChatGPT. Let me know what it wants you to make it, and put it on Instagram and tag me. I'd love to see it. I think it's really interesting, and we're headed into a new era and a new world where things like ChatGPT can really be an asset to artists and business people and the whole world. Thank you so much to Mountain Glass Arts, our sponsor. If you guys are getting into glassblowing and looking for a place to get all your supplies from, their knowledgeable staff can totally help you with any questions that you have. And I really recommend them. It's who I use personally because they have everything. And if you mention that you saw this in a video, they'll give you a little discount. So yeah, go check out Mountain Glass Arts. All right, you guys, let's get in the studio. Let's make a cosmic swirl. And I'd love to hear what you guys think of this. All right. So I wanted to share with you guys the screen recording of the prompt that we were using. And here it says, I run a YouTube channel called Revere Glass and create educational glassblowing content. Act as a creative consultant and use your knowledge of borosilicate glass art, techniques, styles, and history to give a specific and creative suggestion. Design a glass piece I can make using torch techniques and provide a specific steps to making the project. So here you can see that ChatGPT designed a piece and named it the cosmic swirl, and then gave me the steps to make it. So let's do these steps. Let's see what we come out with, and I'll just follow the instructions of the AI. Here we go. Okay, so the first step was to gather my materials, my torch and everything like that. So I have that here. I got all my colors and clear and anything I'm going to want or need. So you can see on the right, I have some borosilicate color. I have some tools and my torch, of course. And the first step it wants me to do is to make a cylinder with my first color. So here I go making the cylinder, and it didn't really give me too many specifics about how to make the cylinder or how big to make the cylinder. So I just used my best judgment and tried to make a cylinder the simplest and kind of fastest way possible. So now the second step is to lay the second color on top. And it really didn't say stripe it on or encase it. It was lay it on. So here I go. I'm just going to lay it on just like it wants. And then I'm going to melt it in and twist it. But I want to follow these directions kind of close if I can, and just kind of see what we come up with. So here we go. I have the two pieces, the cylinder and then the laid on glass. And now I'm going to heat this up. And when I get this hot, they're going to melt together. And they're going to start to become one piece and really cohesive. So instead of melting them all the way in so they were smooth the whole way, I wanted to leave them a little bit rigid so that when I encase it, there's going to be some different kinds of depth. and ChatGPT talked about depth being important in this piece. And so I wanted to create more depth using this kind of system where I'm going to heat the glass and twist it, but leave a ridge outside. So you can see I'm heating it up and spiraling it out. And I'm even spiraling it so the side on the right is a little bit more tapered than the side on the left. And that's going to create that cosmic swirl effect. All right. So here we go. I'll take off the end, take off a little piece. Okay. And the next step says, heat up the third color of glass and layer it over the cylinder to add depth to the design. So this one I used a little bit of creative interpretation, and I had to decide on the meaning of color and versus the importance of depth. So I thought maybe I could use a transparent and kind of create some depth in it like that. I almost went that route, but I decided I'd go clear because I felt that that would create the most depth. And I figured that color could mean any of your rods. Let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think, how it would have turned out if we had used a transparent glass, like a Blue Dream or something like that? Anyway, so now it said that it wants me to layer on the color, right? It didn't say encase it or anything like that. So it says, heat up the third color of glass and layer it over the cylinder to add depth to the design. So I wanted to really try to interpret this literally. And so instead of maybe putting this inside of a tube to encase it, I really tried to layer on the glass in a way that would encase it. So I used some Marini techniques. For those of you guys that are new to the channel, a Marini is a little picture in glass. And you may have seen this when you're looking at pieces and you see a little image or a cartoon character or even a floral design. That's called a Marini. If you're interested more about Marinis, check out the workshop I'm teaching in March. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, the next step, you guys, is use the flame to melt the glass until it becomes spherical. And this one, I'm definitely going to heat up the whole thing really nice and hot and get this thing into a sphere. Hopefully I didn't encase too many bubbles doing the layering of the clear glass to create depth. So we'll see how it comes out. But I'm going to add another layer just so I can create more glass. And then I'm going to heat this whole thing up and bring that into a sphere and try to do all these steps perfectly. Maybe I'll get an award from the computer overlords one day. All right, so here we go, creating the next layer of depth with my third kind of colored glass. And I have my cosmic swirl inside. And I think when we look at this from different angles, we're going to think, wow, that was pretty creative that the cosmic swirl really looks like a cosmic swirl with those steps that it gave me. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff, you guys. All right. So now I'm going to heat up this clear. I'm going to layer it on, really trying not to trap any bubbles. I'm really going to hope that I didn't trap any bubbles. So one thing that's going to help is I'm going to try to heat it up and move the glass from one side to the other. So I'm going to heat up on the front and then start to heat it up and move it and move it and move it. And hopefully if there's any air bubbles or anything like that, it's going to squeeze its way out. All right. So heat that up, marver it. And so now I've started the last step, which is use the flame to make this into a sphere. So I heated it up and used the flame, made it into a sphere. Now I'm going to heat this up, pull off the excess glass, and continue to make this into a sphere. So we're going to heat it up and then get this nice and hot. And I'm going to grab my tweezers and pull off any excess or like mismatched color, anything that's weird, and just bring it all in to one point. And there you go. And so now I have it attached to the punty. I'm going to be able to heat this up, put this in the marble mold, and get that finalized shape on there. Go back and attach it to a punty on the other side, really working this in the flame to get this as spherical as possible. So I'm going to heat this up and heat up the other side. Go back, make sure that gravity is coming in to bring all that glass into the center point to make that a sphere. All right, So here we go, nice and round. I'm gonna put this in the marble mold just to kind of finish off that shape and move that around. And then I can move the punty back and forth a few times. And some of you guys who are on the online school or make marbles know that when you're making a marble, the last steps are to move the punty around from axis to axis and then heat up the whole thing round and spherical from different directions. And then ultimately that becomes round and spherical. All right, pop that off. And here we go. Heat that up. Make this sphere on this side, and then I'll maybe attach one more punty. Maybe it's ready, but you can use your judgment for yourself. Make sure that you get this nice and round. All right, back into the marble mold. You can see this cosmic swirl coming into shape. It looks pretty interesting from the side. It looks pretty cylindrical, but then when you look at it from one side, you really get to see that taper. And when you look at it from the other side, it looks more cylindrical. So super interesting the way this came out and the way that AI is right now and how it can decide what to make. Is that creativity or is that just a data set? And what's the difference between that and my creativity or yours? Anyway, these are some things I've been thinking about. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Anyway, here's the marble, the cosmic swirl. You can check it out from different angles. You can see that here it looks like kind of like upwards the spiral, and on the other side it looks more cylindrical. I'm really happy the way that this came out, mostly because ChatGPT made it, but let me know what you guys think. We'll see you in the next one.